It should be a pretty good one. Yep. Everybody ready?
There's a lot of them on there, but a lot of them are pretty. Yeah.
Tell those guys we're ready. Can you tell them we're ready?
We're
Ready.
Oh, you guys ready?
Yep. I'd like to call to order a Landmarks Commission meeting for May 27th, 2025. The time is currently 7 p.m. Roll call, please.
Roger White.
Here.
Clint Wardell.
Here.
Patrick Lynch.
Here.
Linda Henry.
Here.
Rich Dobda. Here. David Kirkcraft.
Here.
Pete Lynch.
Here. Can I get approval of minutes for the April 28th, 2025 Commission meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of April 28th.
Second.
Roll call. Pete Lynch.
Abstain?
David Kirkcraft.
Yes.
Rich Dobda, yes. Linda Henry.
Yes.
Patrick Lynch.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Roger White.
Yes.
Pending applications?
The first application on tonight's agenda is CA 25020. Address is 24 East Mound Street. This is a request for a new fence. It was tabled last month at the request of the applicant. Subject property is a residential home that was constructed between 1872 and 1881. Last year, the Landmarks Commission approved a major renovation to the rear addition of the home with new siding, roof, windows, and doors. On the photograph on the screen, you can see some of that renovation work right after it took place. This evening, the applicant is requesting to replace the existing 4-foot picket fence that's behind the property to install a new 4-foot vinyl picket fence. Up on the screen, you can see a portion of the existing fence. There's a little break right here, and then it continues on around the alley. Roughly in the location in this aerial here, goes all the way down and turns. The applicant is looking to replace it with a new 4-foot vinyl. The dimensions of the fence is going to shorten up from the alley a bit. Will die into the neighboring property to the east of the back corner of their house, while the location along this alley on the west side of the home will remain the same. The applicant has noted some of the fence material, where they purchased it at, and provided some photographs, including the locations for any gates. Any questions from the commission for me or for the applicant?
Did you say purchased?
I have not purchased it yet,
Okay.
no.
All right. Thank you.
Intending to purchase.
Intent, yes, intend to purchase.
Thank you for clarifying that.
I don't think we've ever approved a vinyl fence in the preservation or the historical area.
No, no. I like the idea of a 4-foot fence being put in there, but I think as historical as that house is, I think it would kind of detract from it. A wood fence would.
So currently, it is a white picket fence, and it will just be replaced with another white picket fence. So the material is different, but the look is gonna be exactly the same. For me personally, I'm a single woman teacher. The upkeep for a wood fence is a lot of work. The vinyl is a lot easier for me. It lasts a lot longer. Being on the alley, my wood fence has also been hit a few times. Not super hard, but hard enough that it has just broken the wood super easily. So I think the vinyl, a little more sturdy, easier for the upkeep, for me personally, lasts a lot longer. My neighbor next door, currently we have a chain link fence in between us. I've spoken to him, he's gung-ho for having a nicer looking fence in there. Yeah, so it's kind of, I understand the wood fence in historic Canal, but for me personally, it would just be so much easier to have something that I don't have to paint consistently and keep up with.
Well, there's also metal fences
Yes.
that we have
Aluminum
approved.
fence that wouldn't require much maintenance. There's no such thing, of course, as a no maintenance
Yeah.
product. So,
An aluminum fence that would look like a white picket fence? Or,
You mean metal?
yeah, you said, did you say metal or aluminum? I'm sorry.
Well, metal or aluminum.
yeah.
Right, so my question is, would it have the white picket fence look to it, or would it be like a metal fence?
No, it would be more just the 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch vertical bars in them. It wouldn't look like this.
Typically black.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
black and.
Yeah, to me, I think that keeping the consistency with the white picket fence, I think would be,
I get it.
yeah.
The fence that you show in this photograph up on the screen, I don't consider that a picket fence.
Okay, so white, what would you consider that one? I guess it's kind of the same style.
I don't even think it's the same style as a picket fence. The
Right.
Pickets that you have now they have a pointed top on them.
Mm-hmm.
And you do not have that on the fence that you've approved.
Okay, so I guess they would have slats,
It's more of a slat.
would be consistent.
Well,
Yeah,
there's picket fence, there's dog-eared fences that we approved, I think, a couple meetings ago over on Columbus Street. That was wood.
And we would easily go with a dog-eared fence here, wood.
Yes.
As opposed to
Just
the
not
decorative
vinyl.
top.
Yeah.
well, and I guess like living in town, I've driven around, I see the houses around, if you're not keeping up with it and painting it consistently, it really starts to just have that ragged look to it. And this is gonna consistently look nice and clean and not weathered, and I just think it's gonna have a good look.
I get where you're coming from, but, our job here is basically to keep the historic look of our downtown buildings and such. And part of that is the type of material that is used for construction. It's like your house here, I mean, if you were to wrap that brick structure in vinyl siding, it would be a travesty. We've rejected vinyl columns on porches and vinyl rails on porches. We don't allow it because the vinyl is not a product that would have been used. It's not a period-like product, it's not. Is it lower maintenance? Can't
Well,
question that.
It's
but
not a period-like product, but neither is like the hardy board that I put on my house. Like,
It's a lot-
eventually don't we have to kind of,
And you are correct, but
Grow
hardy
with-
board is a lot closer to wood than vinyl is to wood. See what I mean?
yeah, I guess I don't see, to me, looking at a nice white vinyl fence looks better than a fence that has dilapidated because it's made of wood.
That's also part of buying a home in the historic district. People have slate roofs on their houses that they have
Yeah.
to maintain. It's
Which
just
costs a
part of it.
fortune.
Yes, it does.
How does the
Yes.
commission feel about a white aluminum fence? I just looked and there is the same style of fence that we've approved in black that comes in white.
I'd be good with that.
Is it picket?
It's kind of just like there's other options.
It's more like
besides
what she's showing in the picture.
It is not. It's like the three-quarter.
Okay.
Three-quarter.
It's kinda like what-
Similar
yeah,
to,
it was
A thin rail.
Okay, I couldn't see.
that. Yeah, it's
with that style,
Okay.
we've only approved
So it'd be
that residentially with the exposed pickets at the top without the closed top rail.
See, to me, I think that looks worse than vinyl, to me personally, but.
Typically, we like to see you replace like for like. Not that we wouldn't alter the picket style, but I don't.
Well, that wasn't also, like, the lady that lived there before me put that up without any approval. That has nothing to do with the original home. So just something else to consider. It wasn't like she didn't come in here. I grew up in the house next door, so.
I mean, I know what you're saying.
Mhm.
I think we all know what you're saying, but we just couldn't do a vinyl fence in this neighborhood.
Well, first of all, we'd be setting up a precedent and that everybody would be coming in asking for a vinyl fence.
Be a
Pretty
bad
soon that's all
precedent.
we'd have is vinyl fences in the historical district.
Yeah.
Another comment to you would also be that a lot of the vinyl fences that are outside of the historical district, they get very like green and molded, and they do break, and they require, I would consider it to be a very similar amount of upkeep and,
To a white picket fence.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to, I have not painted that fence since I lived there, and it is,
and I guess the other
That.
thing to consider is it doesn't have to be white, it could just be a cedar that's left natural.
We left natural, yeah, and not do anything to it, or put a clear sealer on it, or a whitewash on it that could last, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Unless you paint it solid white. If you paint it solid white, you won't have to do it more often, but if you use more of a semi-transparent stain, it's gonna hold up far longer than just stain.
And that's a good point, semi-transparent.
Yeah. Yep. Done a lot of fences like that.
okay.
So,
Any consideration for a wood picket fence to replace yours?
I haven't even looked into that yet, so.
We could approve a white picket fence tonight in wood.
I wouldn't approve.
I have no,
I wouldn't approve anything the applicant hasn't agreed to this evening. If the applicant wants to stick with their contents presented this evening, then that's how I would recommend voting, unless they have verbally communicated wanting to modify the style based on your discussion.
Have any further questions?
nope.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve application CA-25-020.
I'll second that.
Roll call, Roger White,
No,
Whit Wardell,
No.
Patrick Lynch,
No.
Linda Henry, Rich Dobden, no, David Kirkcraft,
No.
Pete Lynch.
No.
hey, thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Who seconded that?
Roger did.
Thank you.
The next application on tonight's agenda is CA 25023. Address is 10 West Oak Street. The request this evening is for a new monument sign. You're all pretty familiar with this facility, so I'm going to skip over the history and go right into the details here. The applicant is requesting approval to install a new 9-foot wide by 2.5-foot tall for the sign face itself monument sign. The monument sign will be made out of aluminum with extruded aluminum lettering and then LED uplighting. The sign is proposed to be single-sided, sitting on a stone base at a total of 4 feet tall. When looking at the proposed location for the sign, the applicant has indicated in the green space that's in between the parking spaces, fronting Oak Street, and the kind of main walkway that leads to the grain elevator. This sign does exceed the maximum 10 square foot size for face. So with your approval of the sign or recommendation for approval, you will also be recommending to the Planning and Zoning Commission a variance recommendation for increasing the size of the sign. So just be aware of that for whoever makes the motion. Applicants here from day and night to answer any questions you guys have. If you have any questions of the variance process, feel free to ask me.
Hello?
Hi there, yeah, so I'm from Day Night Sign Company, and I'm representing the Historical Society tonight. We had a couple of different renderings in front of the city for this, and there's some discussion early on. The first design we had was a little taller, and it had some wood like slats that were the building would have. So we kind of went away from that and lowered it to the ground, and instead of any acrylic letters, we got rid of those and we made all the letters aluminum, as well as the sign cabinet. In that that stone base, we're gonna try to match that up with some aspects, I believe, that are on like the base or some areas on the building. We did go with the external illumination as well. That's consistent with the historic district. So those are my initial thoughts. Happy to hear you guys' comments.
So was this sign approved by staff then, or at the direction of?
Yeah, so staff worked with both the applicant and the Historical Society on kind of oversizing the sign. Given the nature of the size of the property, the scale of the 5-story building that's there, staff feels it's appropriate to exceed the 10 square feet maximum that the zoning code allows for. And so that was kind of the direction that we provided to the Historic Society, that if they wanted to do a bigger sign than the 10 square feet max that's permitted, to explore doing so, as long as it's within the consistent nature of the building and existing site. So staff thinks the applicant has achieved that, but really it's up to the Landmarks Commission on the design itself.
You had mentioned the stonework. I mean, do we have any stone around the building that mimics what you have on the base?
Yeah, I believe there was aspects of it. I don't know, Todd, are you
It's like a brown
able to
sandstone.
speak to that? Yeah.
They're gonna be a
Sandstone.
stone base around the patio they're adding to the back of the building.
I
I
mean,
don't know
will
if
it be
that was
this,
the intent
I
to
mean, will it be
match.
this stone?
Yeah, I think that the applicant or some of the historic society could answer, but I believe that was the intent.
So, yeah, I would say as long as this stone on the base matches what's around the patio, which blends in with the building being a sandstone stone, I mean, and it's cultured stone, right?
It's a stone veneer.
Yeah, veneer
but-
stone.
But it's still, yeah, it's real, yeah.
Looks more like limestone though, is that correct? In this picture?
No.
Is it sandstone? It doesn't look like
Well, the picture's more of a limestone color, but it just mentioned that it's going to be more of a sandstone to match what's on the existing structure, is that correct?
Is that in the front or just at the rear?
Of the building
The
itself.
stone that you're trying to match up, is that stone going to be in just the
Do
rear?
you
or is
know
it
if it's in the
also
front or rear?
Mostly to
Oh,
the rear.
yeah.
I think it's in the rear.
Patio's in the rear.
Yeah.
The only other new stone is on the back of the, on the north side on the patio.
Yeah.
You can't really see the sandstone that's around the right side either from the front,
Maybe
can you?
down on the west end a little bit, and on the east side, but you can't see it.
Not from Oak Street? Okay.
No. I like the layout and everything. Like I said, I guess as long as that stone matches what's you're already using for the patio.
And we will coordinate
Yeah.
that, so we can
Fine.
pick a stone in particular.
Is the cap, is that obviously probably a metal?
It's an aluminum cap right
Okay.
now. Yeah.
I think the size looks fine. I mean, scale-wise, it's a big building, so makes sense that the sign's appropriate.
I mean, I think you just have to be careful on what kind of landscaping to put in front of the sign.
So as not to block it, yeah. so
Right.
it's- Or if any,
Looks
I
nice.
think it can stand alone itself just fine.
I mean, it's only 18 inches above grade, at least to the cap. A small bush or something doesn't take long to
Yeah.
dwarf.
And the oversizedness is good for the 35-foot setback too. You don't want to sign that far into the property with it being too small.
Yeah, I think it's kind of meant to be kind of on your entryway in where you'll see it.
Have any further questions?
I have no questions.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve CA 25023 as presented.
I second.
Do we want anything on the sign base?
Also to recommend a variance to increase the size of the sign to exceed the 10-foot square foot maximum.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, anything on the sign base material?
Oh, I'm sorry, The,
To
uh,
match.
yeah, the stonework also to match the same stone that's going to go on the patio at the rear.
Who seconded that?
Dave?
I did.
Roll call, Pete Lynch,
Yes.
David Cricko,
Yes.
Rich Dabney, yes. Linda Henry,
Yes.
Patrick Lynch,
Yes.
Whit Wardell,
Yes.
Roger White.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next application on tonight's agenda, CA 25024. Address is 134 through 136 East Waterloo Street. I don't see the applicant here. This is for a new roof on the subject building. This multi-unit apartment house was constructed in 1921 when the original single-family house burned to the ground. This property has not been before Landmarks Commission in the past. This is a rental property. It's a 4-unit building, 2 downstairs, 2 upstairs. The applicant is seeking approval to install new black asphalt shingles on the roof. I could not get a brand or manufacturer or specific color from the applicant. I'm hoping he was going to be here this evening to discuss that. The roof now is currently like a black peppered gray 3-tab. The information the applicant did provide to me was the new roof was going to be a solid black 3-tab, but didn't provide any additional clarity to that. Beyond the new shingles, the applicant is requesting to remove the brick chimney centered in the roof. That way they can install a solid ridge vent all the way across. He did not provide any information on why the chimney should be removed other than to continue the cap vent. Unfortunately, I'm unable to help any further since the applicant's not here this evening.
Andrew, they did, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Andrew, did he have any mention of whether he was going to do anything with the gutters?
The applicant has not indicated if they're doing anything with the gutters.
Okay, thank you.
You said he did specify that he wanted to put 3 tabs back on?
That's the quote he sent me, showed a black 3-tab. Because I asked for more information on the new shingles, and it was just like a pricing thing from a contractor that said black 3-tab asphalt. I was surprised because I don't think I know any roofing companies that still sell 3-tab,
They're harder to get.
That don't sell 3-tab?
that do sell 3-tab.
Oh, okay.
These photos do not show that the chimney is in real bad condition. It looks like it's in pretty good condition.
Yeah, the applicant did not indicate the chimney was in bad condition. This is the only photo I got of the chimney.
So it's probably just what, not a functional chimney, maybe?
No, they said, I think they said it's a non-functional chimney.
Yeah.
Have we ever approved the removal of a chimney on a structure?
We
Precedent
have.
on that? I mean, and if I remember correctly, the only reason to remove one is if it was posing a danger to said house or neighboring properties.
Yeah, there's been at least 3 I'm aware of. 2 are on Trine Street. One was Dr. Kelly's house when they did that big renovation. The chimneys were not going to be used with the reno, so those were capped off and shortened. Another one on Trine Street was removed to install a new metal roof. The house was real small, so the chimney scale was really weird. There's one more, but it's very selective on the reasoning.
What's holding the chimney up? I mean, fireplace underneath it?
What's that?
I wonder what's supporting that chimney.
gotta
If it's not functional, is there a non-functional fireplace somewhere in the house?
I'm sure, or several, probably.
Right.
One of the questions I asked the applicant to help answer for this evening was why these vent caps were sticking like 5-6 feet off of the roof. There's two of them, one on each side.
See that? That's aggressive.
So I don't know why that is like that either, but I asked him if they were going to shorten them with the new roof, and he indicated probably not, but he didn't know why they were that tall either.
I see no reason why they would be. Those are vent pipes?
I believe they're vent pipes because they have B caps on them.
Without the applicant here, I think we should table this this evening.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think we need to see a sample of what he wants to put on the roof.
I move to table application CA 25-2024.
I'll second.
Roll call, Will Wardell,
Yes.
Patrick Lynch,
Yes.
Roger White,
Yes,
Linda Henry,
Yes.
Rich Dobde, yes, P. Lynch,
Yes.
David Kirkhope.
Yes.
You would ask for the applicant to come back with samples and
Yeah.
reasoning as to why to remove that fireplace.
Yep.
and also on the high vent pipes.
Yep.
Looks like a steamboat.
The next application, CA 25-025 for 10 West Oak Street. The request this evening is for the awning details that are going to be on the south side of the building. Also the patio decking details that were both tabled from previous applications in late, 2024. The applicant has put some cut sheets together showing what the supports would look like for those wooden awnings that will kind of be permanently propped up in front of the fixed windows to represent the vent doors for the grain elevator. The applicant has also installed one on the building for you guys to visit and see prior to tonight's meeting. But in the upper right corner here, you can see a photograph of that awning support structure, how it's been designed to be concealed from the ground. And then the only thing really missing from that sample is the batten strips on the top, and then the wooden support brace to make it look like it's propped up. This was a request based off of a previous submittal of this item to come back with more details for your review. Here again, here's the photograph of what the scale of the awning looks like on the building, with all the windows that will have awnings be trimmed out in this one photo, and then an inside photo showing you what that system looks like from inside of the building. Again, what's missing here is the support brace and then the actual fixed window on the inside of the building that will be sealing this space off. Lastly, with this building, the patio decking was tabled back in 2024 for more information provided. So the applicant has reassessed their concept and has come back, and they're requesting for this stamped concrete pattern. I do not see in the application what color they're requesting, but it looks like this pattern is the largest size available with a 48-inch by 48-inch stamp zone. So if you have any questions for the applicant, I'm sure he will be more than happy to answer them for you.
I may have missed this in a previous meeting, but the fixed windows that go in behind these, I'm assuming it's just a single pane. Is it, what's the color of the frame? Is it?
You were showing
Yeah, it's in the detail.
Is it?
I'm John Odie, representing Historical Society. Yeah, it's in the detail, and they are insulated windows. We're fully conditioning the inside space, so they will match the previously approved storefront when we did the vestibule addition, where it's the dark bronze with the zippy grids, both in the windows and in the fixed glass. That's where the hopper vents are.
So it's just a single pane with the bronze perimeter?
It's called insulated. I believe it's the double
I'm
pane
sorry,
glass.
I'm using the wrong terms, just one pane of.
Yes, correct.
One glass, no grids.
Yes, correct.
And the sticking that's supposed to look like it's holding, there's just one of those?
The stick,
Yes.
yeah, that's not in the picture we did yet, but there'll be one stick in the middle. It used to be an operative window, and they put the stick out to hold it open to ventilate. We needed the braces that you see on the head there for wind loads to meet really what might happen up there. But we did want to put the stick in, it'll be in a fixed position. They'll always remain open.
Okay.
And all of the interior of this window is going to be painted exactly
Yeah.
the same color as the
Everything will match the Yankee barn siding, including the brace. We'll paint that as well.
And birds won't be allowed to get up there and roost and stuff like that.
I hope not.
I'm just,
Well, that won't happen.
They've cleaned out enough of the pigeon stuff. They don't want any more.
The sticks that you have in here, the support, the center support, it's non-detachable, correct?
Correct. It's non-functional, it's simply aesthetics to match that
And
original
it will
stick
be
that was there.
attached then to the
Correct.
each, okay.
Yep.
I mean, I can't read the detail on the stick. What is it, 3/4 inch or inch and a half
I can't read it.
square or 3/4 square?
I can't read it. Does it say on there?
Just says one by wood.
Okay.
Yeah, we can look at the original. We have an old photograph.
Mhm.
It can be any size if we want to make it a little more massive. It's out there by itself. It could be larger if it needs to be. That's a good point. We want to see the stick.
I like the aesthetic of the stick.
Yeah, because,
Windows.
so we might want to make that larger, I don't know.
I think it's well
It certainly
thought out.
can be.
Well thought out, well presented.
It's going to look beautiful.
Thank you.
Are there any questions on the patio decking?
I will just mention briefly that the color is wheat shock. It's an internal color that's made with the stamped concrete. It's not something applied, which is better for durability. It's kind of a warm gray texture, and we got the biggest size we could to kind of get that massive scale of the patio, so.
Is that why you went with the flagstone pattern as opposed to more of a rectangular cut stone pattern?
No, it's random in what's shown here. It's not a rectangular pattern.
Yeah, well, that's what my question was. Why'd you go with like a irregular flagstone as opposed to a modular cut stone in
Well,
random
I don't
sizes?
know, we looked at several of those, we really didn't like what was available in that pattern, so we wanted to make it just feel old and cracked like an old sidewalk, I guess was
More
that-
vintage.
my explanation.
Okay, right. I think it looks great. I love what you guys are doing with the place.
Well,
It's fantastic.
we're trying to set a record for being here more than anybody else.
You've already beat that.
You're in the running.
And we'll be back, I think,
Happy
next month again.
We'll look forward to seeing
Well,
you.
we appreciate your help. It's certainly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Will there be a border around it like this?
No, no
It'll
border.
just be, okay.
No,
No,
good.
nope, simple. Let's keep it simple.
Okay.
No other questions? I'd move to approve CA 25025.
I'll second.
Roll call, Pete Lynch,
Yes.
David Kirkhoff,
Yes.
Rich Dobda, yes. Linda Henry,
Yes.
Patrick Lynch,
Yes.
Whit Wardell. Yes. Roger White.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Probably see you next month.
The next application for tonight's agenda is CA 25026. Address is 8 South High Street. The request this evening is for a new walk-up window on the rear of the building. Photograph here of the finished kind of front phase of this major renovation downtown. This project has had a number of approvals through landmarks to get it from the old marble facade to this historically accurate building that is up on the screen. The applicant is looking to take the rear teller window for the rear ATM canopy and turn that into a walk-up cafe window. Currently, there is a 2 fixed panes of glass here where a number of tellers would sit and be able to interact with you on an intercom system while you're going through the ATM pneumatic drive-through. That drive-through was torn down, so currently this window system is just facing the parking lot. The applicant is looking to turn that into a walk-up window for their cafe, Sprig and Breathe, that operates out of the Farm Exchange. Chelsea provided these inspirational photos of kind of the vision for how they could transform this space and has come up with the attached concept for your review this evening. So they'd like to take that 8-foot-long window in the back and put in a 4-foot self-service sliding drive-through window in the center of it to be dark bronze to match the new dark bronze windows facing High Street. There will be new awning that will be over the window to provide some sheltering and to help identify the pedestrian window itself. Staff had asked the applicant to come up with some sort of idea of how to help delineate this as a pedestrian experience, not for automobile traffic from taking advantage of the window, driving the wrong way in the parking lot, and hitting the side of the building with their car. So the applicant has put together this kind of plan here showing they're going to put some planters out to help delineate that space. And then I think the applicant is working on a future submittal to you guys for signage to help kind of identify what this area is, but did not have that quite ready for this evening. So Chelsea's here to answer any questions you guys have. This project did receive the CWIC Facade Improvement Grant dollars for this last round we had for this improvement. So feel free to ask her any questions about it, but this is kind of phase 1. I think phase 2 is going to be like signage and maybe other miscellaneous items, but this will get her started.
Could you describe the planters?
Sure. So we're thinking of, hold on, I pulled my document. We're hoping to have planters that are around between 3 and 4 feet in height, so they'll be good and like midway up the body. And then we haven't decided on a specific plant that's going to go in there, but we are also hoping for something taller as well, again, to just delineate that it's a walk-up window instead and kind of create a small barricade around. So that's the intention.
What will they be constructed of?
We are looking at, well, I don't know the specific material, but it's the typical black planters that you see at Home Depot. They're plastic.
I mean, are they plastic or
Yes.
concrete or wood?
Plastic.
Okay.
Yeah. But I can make them concrete if you like that.
I mean, is there any chance for a car to hit them?
The parking lot goes in a sideways U shape. You can kind of see potentially from above, but I feel like with the awning as far out as it will come, as well as the planters coming out, that should be, in my opinion, around 4 to 5 feet minimum away from just the window itself. That would create hopefully an obvious barrier to not run over a pedestrian.
So are you going to have any trash receptacle there? I see there's a dumpster there.
That's a grease interceptor from the wigwam. It's not ours, but it's my understanding that that's going to have to be moved regardless. I don't think it's meant to be there, nor do I hopefully don't want it there. Don't think that's that yummy next to where you're walking up to get food from. So with that said, I do hope to have, do you see on the image where the small pipes are to the right? Yep, right there.
Yes.
That's a small in cut there, and I have an existing trash can that is nice and beautiful and similar to the ones in the city that's black, that I can put out there.
Chelsea, I have a question. In the photograph, we're seeing that the exterior of that window is rather gray.
It is a
And are you-
fogged milkplex, I think, right
It's
now?
what?
I think it's like a fogged milkplex right now, but that will be replaced
Okay.
with the, I sent in the transaction window is clear. So you'll have visibility into, or light visibility, I should say, into the kitchen, because that's the kitchen space where Cafe cooks.
Well, I guess I'm talking about the exterior of the wall itself being gray. And I'm seeing this picture with the beige and white. Is that the color that you're thinking or no?
So it's my understanding that the frame that we're purchasing will be the dark bronze, similar to that of the front windows off High Street, which was a request of the staff. So that should be replaced to be dark. And then over top of that, the awning will come out, which is the tan and cream.
I guess I'm thinking the tan and cream, or whatever it's going to be, doesn't look great with the gray color that's on that.
Okay,
Like of the wall itself, Linda?
Yes, the wall.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about the frame of the window.
No, I'm just talking about the actual wall.
Got it.
Chelsea, is this border on the outside, is that like a brick ledge that's stepped out, or is that like just a?
It's like metal, like,
So it's like, that's like what's holding the glass
Yeah.
in shape? So
Yeah.
they're gonna be pulling out this aluminum glass and fitting it back into the metal wrap?
that's my understanding.
Yeah, so that border you're seeing, Linda, is gonna stay,
I wasn't concerned about that, I was just not liking the gray with the
the
beige.
gray with the beige.
Okay,
But going back to what you just said, the frame will stay.
The quote she sent, looks like they're gonna be putting new solid pieces of glass in that existing opening,
Oh,
and then
okay.
just adding this.
The pass-through of the,
So the opening
pass in
stays
the
the
middle.
same size?
correct.
Okay, so, okay, I thought they were putting in a window, shortening up the opening, and then I was wondering how they're gonna finish that off.
Now,
So-
this is an 8-foot wide spread right here.
And
So
it'll
this would
stay
be a
8 foot.
2-foot pane of glass, a 2-foot pane of glass, and then a 4-foot
Slider.
slider.
Okay, got it, so two fixed and one's
Correct.
double slider, okay.
Are you going
That
to,
makes more sense.
are you going to have a menu board that's going to be facing the customers?
We discussed menu options with Andrew. Right now, I'm not looking to put anything permanent that's on the outside of the building, because right now, the space as it stands with Sprig and Brie, the kitchen intention is to grow starter businesses and allow them to grow into their own brick and mortars later. So I'm not completely set on putting a permanent structure for one person. So we hope to have a standing sandwich board that we put out with the menu on it, and then pull it in every night.
the parking will stay as is, right?
I believe so, yes.
I'm just trying to remember how close the first parking space is to that building.
You got quite a ways.
It's pretty significant.
Okay.
It's a one-way loop around the building.
Mhm.
There's probably 25 feet maybe. I mean, it's, because there is a pretty big turnaround in there.
Okay. I think it'll be pretty cool.
I like the idea, yeah, it's a neat concept, good use of that window. God, I'm glad to see the whole thing, drive-through thing gone. Thank you.
Will there be any exterior lighting or anything like that, like above? Or,
Go ahead, sorry.
There's one right there, isn't there?
Yeah, that's more of a security light. There's also an exterior street parking light that's right there in the parking lot. I don't have any plans to add new exterior lighting at this time, although I could see that being something pretty in the future. It's not in the plans.
so
right
that
now.
security light will stay?
I think so,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Yeah, unless it's in the way of mounting the awning. I guess I always assume you just keep it there pointing
That's
down
what
so
I
you
was
can see underneath of it.
Chelsea, with regard to planners, are we talking two?
2.
I think I'd like to see some options for those.
Sure.
You mean the planters?
Yeah, as opposed to just approving the black poly. Although I'm sure once the plant's in there, it's not gonna look bad, but.
Could you pull up the coffee? I think it's in the coffee picture, the main inspiration for it. The one on the bottom left there, that's the inspiration for what I hope to have, not necessarily that twirly tree. I'm not quite sure what kind that is, but that is the inspiration for the potter or potted.
Are you looking for that kind of height too with the plant?
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say
3 foot high
typically
plate
like
right there.
that would be considered furniture, which is probably not under like a permanent installation for landmarks review. And I'm sure if Chelsea wants, feedback, then that's totally fine, but,
You mean this planter over here?
yeah, like planters and, that's more furniture based, not,
Is there room for picnic tables or little cafe tables or anything like that?
There's definitely room for that, and I'm very interested in that, but I'm also trying to make sure I'm doing it the right way and not just setting up a second restaurant in the back, although I would,
I
you
would-
know.
I would think that the tall plants that are shown in the inspiration for future window picture would inhibit people from seeing the front of what you're using. In other words, somebody's sidewalk or whatever walking on the sidewalk wouldn't even know that that's there because it's hidden by shrubbery.
Sure, I think ultimately the intention of the shrubbery is to frame it in a way that again pushes towards pedestrian walk-up. My hope is by having the awning, which originally I did not have in the drawings, but my hope is by having the awning, not only do we pay homage to the original exchange store that was there, but also to me, that draws a consumer in. So that's the intention, but I completely can understand that.
Is there any plans to paint the back of that?
I'm definitely open to doing something more creamy for that. Got to talk to someone.
You know what, if you were to keep it the color that it is and not paint, I think something more, I mean, I'm kind of in love with your green on white stripe.
I
It
just
would
haven't
really
found
pop
one of
off
those
that.
online yet. So I needed to provide an example of one that existed, and the tan was one that I felt tied closest to a more historical color, but I agree, I love the green.
I have,
think
I have a
that-
Sunbrella book in my office you can come borrow.
Right, that would be great.
It has everything, every color they offer as of 4 years ago, so.
Okay, that'd be great.
So are we really just approving the awning, not the color?
So this
choice?
was, I mean, if,
The window, I'm just talking awning wise right now, no color specific at the moment?
do you have a timeline for the grant to just get it approved and submit, or is it just to start this process, do you know?
So it comes in phases, and my understanding that we receive it in small bits. To me, my personal timeline would be to go as quickly as possible to have this open as soon as possible for summer and use of it through summer and fall. So obviously, my timeline's always ASAP.
Right. So Pete, are you saying that you would like to see different awning options?
I mean, I think the awning and the sizes that she has is fine, it just,
Obviously, she wouldn't be able to order the awning without the material, I guess is what
Right.
I've been asking.
I'm kind of with Linda, I think what's picked out there color-wise, if you're not gonna paint, is gonna get lost.
Okay.
Or maybe it could be even brighter.
It's not gonna pop as much.
Right.
Have you, I know I didn't say this in the email about signage to you previously, but have you looked at the name on the valance, like Cornersmiths?
Yeah, I'm open to that. I think I would need to just figure out if I want to generalize and put like Winchester Farm Exchange or Winchester Farm Cafe feels more the correct direction, because I feel like, our kitchen space will be used every 2 to 3 years by someone new. So I don't want to solidify into that, so I'm a little bit, that's why I didn't say yes or no to the
Okay,
signage
okay.
yet.
Yeah, I would advise lettering on the awning itself. It
Mhm.
cuts the longevity of it.
Yeah, I guess what we can do, since there's 2 applications after this, if you want, give me 5 minutes, I can go get this umbrella book, and if you want to look through it, see if there's anything you
I can just
love.
pull it up online too. I can just go on Sunbrella and I can find something.
Okay, I have the actual physical samples of it, if you wanted to.
Nice, love that.
To see what they actually look like too.
Okay.
That way maybe we can table this, throw it to the end of the agenda. So it sounds like Chelsea wants to get rolling, that way we can have some more stuff to look at.
Yeah, I like that.
Sounds good.
You want to give me 2 minutes to walk across, and I'll get that book for a
Sure.
request.
Should we, do you want to table this till the end of?
Yeah, let's just push this to the end.
Okay. We'll wait.
Thank you.
I think this will be nice.
Yes, we're going to wait for our narrator to move on to the next.
I think so. We can't really go on to the next one. Right. So now that I see the planter, I mean, it looks pretty good. The planter, even the black, it's simple.
I like the simple
Kinda neutral.
black. Yeah, I think something size, it almost needs to be sizable to prevent traffic from impeding the space.
I wouldn't think you'd want it any higher than 3 feet, or
I
maybe.
think 30, 36, 48 inch would be a little
Too big.
aggressive. The size of this, that's got to be a 30-inch high window where it says coffee to go.
At
So
least.
that planter is just about to the top of it, so I would say it's only 30 inches tall.
Did we have a motion to push this to the last thing on the agenda?
I'll make that motion that we push this to the last application.
I'll second.
Roll call, Pete Lynch,
Yes.
David Craig,
Yes.
Rich Dobley, yes. Linda Henry,
Yes.
Patrick Lynch,
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Roger White.
Yes.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is CA 25027. This is a request, the request is not for a walk-up window. That's to replace the gutters on this subject property. Up on the screen photograph here of this two-family residence on High Street. Currently, there are box gutters on the front of the building. The box gutters, the applicant has noted has been an issue, a constant issue. It looks like in 2016 they worked on them, from what I could find as well. So the applicant is looking to replace this system on the front of the building with a new black K-style gutter, a 6-inch K-style gutter. With the repair work that they're doing right now, they're going to be replacing all the fascia and soffits with new wood. With the new wood and the request for black gutters, they're also,
That's a white gutter, Andrew.
it's a white gutter?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not looking to paint the fascia and soffit
You'll be
black?
No,
Okay,
no. I thought there was a new letter.
okay.
Just
Never
white,
mind.
the same way it is. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. So everything will be white to match as a new K-style instead of the box gutter. The applicant also did provide information in your packet for a half-round option as well. That was also priced, just a different system.
Well, for one, I need to apologize to the landmarks of the way I let this get. On the south end, the shutters, the old green has come through, and it looks hideous. And then it's been a couple of years that it's looked like this, so it's just, the wood is rotten. We got into it today. The fascia is just absolutely rotten. It wasn't a box gutter once we got up there. So there was a soffit, a fascia, and there was a rubber membrane with a wire mesh in it that created just a valley that ran to the south gutter, downspout. So it was not a box gutter.
Well, that's creative.
It's
Yeah.
very creative, but it's been up there for years. So
Wow.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
What's on the
And-
rear?
Pardon?
What's the rear of the building look like? Is it
It's K-style gutters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the only thing.
And 9 eastbound is K-style gutters. And when we placed the downspout that had rotten, it was a K-style downspout. And it's a 6-inch, I felt it needed to be 6-inch now because there's quite a bit of water coming off that roof.
Oh, yeah.
So,
So all the new
Just like-
work will be painted black?
no.
No,
It's
it's
white.
white.
It's
I mean,
white.
even though it says
Yeah, that's,
black on here?
yeah, that's a change.
The shutters are black.
Okay,
There was, the typing was wrong.
okay.
So it's going to be white, just like it is, the white trim, white fascia, white trim, white gutter, and I'm just asking for a K-style. We're putting a new, when we got into it today, the wood was just absolutely rotten. I mean, from years of deterioration,
So you're matching what's in the back of the,
yes.
okay.
So soffit is okay, in a couple spots it was bad, but the fascia was just absolutely rotten. So it was just, I didn't know what we were going to get into today, but it
The
was a
old summer
mess.
kitchen in the back, it's also K-style?
Pardon?
The old summer kitchen in the rear, is it K-style gutters also?
It's K-style too.
Okay, they've all been changed. It's a shame.
But I apologize, I don't let my properties get this way. There was a piece of board hanging last weekend, and I got it down before it fell on somebody, but usually let my properties get this way, but it's a mess, and I apologize. So, I have no excuse, other than just, I'm buried with work right now. So, it's not an excuse to let, all our properties we own in Canal Winchester are all in excellent shape. So, this just got out of hand.
Do you have any further questions? I'd like to make a motion we approve application CA-25-027 with the conditions that the fascia soffit be replaced with wood.
I treated
And the
wood,
gutters.
Pete, if you want, it's all treated. I got it on the back of my truck, but it's all treated, weathered,
And the gutters and paint will all be white, not black.
yes.
That's the application.
And the
I'll
trim all
second.
painted white, just like it is now.
Roll call, Pete Lynch,
Yes.
David Craig.
Yes.
Rich Dobde, yes. Linda Henry,
Yes.
Patrick Lynch,
Yes.
Whit Wardo,
Yes.
Roger White.
Yes.
Do we need to specify the gutters since he threw two options in there?
No, I think it was clear enough in that.
K-style is fine.
Yeah, K-style.
Thank you,
Jeff.
Mr. Baker.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, and again, I apologize. So, Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Jeff.
Next application, CA-25028. The address is 103 West Waterloo. The applicant is requesting for a new monument sign in front of the building. The former Napa location has primarily wrapped up its major remodel. They just completed the new parking lot improvements. I think what's left is to excavate the asphalt from those islands, put some landscaping in there, and then get the signage in front of the building. The concept for this site had a single multi-tenant monument sign that would be placed in this kind of front landscape area. This would, for those, as a reminder, was a former parking lot. Basically right in this kind of zone was what the original plan showed for. The applicant is looking to continue with that vision by the prior property owners. Wants to put a new multi-tenant sign up in this area. The multi-tenant sign will advertise for all 3 tenant spaces with the address of the building up top. Each one of the tenants will have like an A, B, and C address, so this seemed like the most appropriate way to orient the sign. The sign itself is proposed to be completely made out of metal with these metal tenant panels that could be interchanged over time as tenant turnover happens. And then this sign itself is 11.5 feet from the back edge of the sidewalk. The red dashed line on that drawing just shows the public right-of-way limits beyond the sidewalk to help identify its placement on the site. Applicant couldn't be here this evening, kind of forewarned me he wouldn't be here. He has no intention at this time to illuminate the sign. He said maybe in the future they'll do like a solar ground light just to provide something to it if they need it. But right now there's only one tenant in the building, so they're not as concerned with that at the moment.
Andrew, each tenant then would come into us for approval for their signage.
No, the tenant slots could be interchanged as needed as long as it followed this pattern right here with a white background and a matching color
Same
face.
typeface.
Yeah, it's similar to, this sign I would consider is very similar to the Weiser Construction Building in West Waterloo, how they have those tenant slots. Those are a little smaller in height. This provides, you know, a good 10 inches for the tenant identification. But it's very clear in here, all the lettering is gonna be 4 inches in height, so I think this is a pretty standardized thing we can help,
Will this be one-sided or two-sided?
dual-sided.
Because I'm just thinking there's a parking, you know, it might be hard to see coming, what, from the west?
Yeah, I try to get a good angle. The road is actually angled right here a little bit. So it looks like this was, the handicap space was moved, so you're gonna have these two stalls kind of in front of it a little bit.
This sign's way too big for this mock-up.
And the plants aren't there.
Because that'll show, that'll cause more.
Correct, not yet.
Whatever. But essentially, it's gonna look like that. The sign is way too big.
Andrew, does this need a variance as well?
No, so a multi-tenant sign is allowed to have 15 square feet
Okay.
of space. And so when looking at each of the 3 10-inch panels, even including the little gap in between, we're right under, I think it was at 12.5 square feet when I did the math.
So it's not gonna look like that.
That's just
Okay.
figured
That's
in
what he did.
the tenant.
Yeah, that would be
almost as
below
tall
the
as the building.
address, above the base.
Okay.
Yeah, the actual advertisement area is at like 12.5 square feet.
And what's the construction again?
All aluminum, I
All
believe.
aluminum. It'll have a 1 or 2 poles, I'm not sure of, and it'll be concreted with concrete footers. Real similar to the day-night sign we looked at earlier.
Andrew, the positioning of this sign, he says it's shown 11 foot 6 inches, which brings it where it's at currently, close to that sidewalk. Is there a reason why it's so close to the sidewalk?
Yeah,
Or
so.
will
so-
you try to maximize the distance from?
So that
Basement?
that landscape area is more or less a triangle. And so a sign has to be 5 feet away from the right-of-way. And the right-of-way in that area is about 6-7 feet away from the sidewalk. So to get the sign in front of the building, it had to physically get closer to the building in that one corner.
I guess I'm not real concerned about it being close. It's a little bit of a distance away from the gray sidewalk. It's just this,
This one,
clear, yeah, that sidewalk. If it can be maybe
Yeah.
set away from it a little bit, that way you don't get that cold shoulder feeling walking next to it coming in and out of the building.
yeah, so the
Just strikes me as odd.
Yeah, the challenge is this taper here, this distance decreases.
Yeah.
So they won't be able to meet the setback away from the right-of-way if they move it to center it in the building.
No, I'm not saying center it. I'm saying just move it. Couple feet, yeah. Move it a couple feet. A foot, 18 inches would, I think, proportionally look a lot better than having it almost right up against
Yeah.
that sidewalk. That's all.
I can take a look at that with the applicant.
Yeah.
I know they were in a challenge of finding a setback that worked because the right-of-way is at an angle.
And I get that. If that can be moved
At all.
to the east,
Even a foot?
yeah, a foot,
Okay.
18 inches, I think it would make a huge difference. Especially if they go to put a light in front of that, there's no room to put anything
True.
in the ground in
Yeah.
front of that, so.
I'll look at that with Joe.
Okay.
I know he was in a tight space constraint to start with, so.
Mhm.
I assume this circle that's closest to the Waterloo Street, is that a tree going in?
Yes.
Yeah, so the original landscape plan, so the parking lot requires 3 trees to be planted on site. The original landscape plan showed a tree in each island and then one on the far east side of the building. The applicant hasn't really finished their landscape plan yet on exactly what they want to do. But I believe that's still the intent, is 1 tree in each island and then,
Is that one going to conflict with the visibility of this sign? Coming down Waterloo?
staff doesn't think so, because it'll be,
Depends on what they get to put in.
yeah, well, we could look at kind of trees, but I'm sure it'll be something that will have like
Little
a
height to
taller
it
crown
already.
to it.
Mhm.
That way it doesn't impede pedestrian and vehicle
Well,
traffic.
they made it look pretty big in this picture, so I was like,
Yeah.
Any further questions?
I'll make a motion to approve application CA-25-028 as stated, but one of the conditions will be to move the sign to the east as much as possible.
Yes.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, Roger White,
Yes.
Whit Wardell,
Yes.
Patrick Lynch,
Yes.
Linda Henry,
Yes.
Rich Dodd to abstain, David Craig.
Yes.
P. Lynch.
Yes. Did you find one?
You're back up.
You're up.
All right, so back up, thanks for modifying the agenda earlier. We're going to revisit CA 25026, specifically the items related to the awning color and material. You can pass that around, Chelsea, if you
Okay,
want.
cool. I chose 3 options for you guys. Green is our brand color, but if you want something more contrasted and punchy for the parking lot, I chose black and white as well. So, for these 3. Thank you. I were a designer at all, I would come with my own plans.
This is how I do it.
Thank you. All right, Tim.
You said that green is your brand color?
So,
Green is our
I'm gonna put it over here, so,
Okay.
because there's 3 of us. Sure. Look at it.
So I feel like the two Beaufort are the most like contrasty in terms of
So
black and
this
white
one-
or the dark green and white. And then I
This
chose
one-
one historical looking option that is like a green with the more cream or like a, you know, off-white to feel more historical.
What's that one?
Would you still want a scalloped valance?
I think so. I feel like that
And then-
ties to the old one.
And then this photo doesn't show as well as your others that you sent me, but an open end.
Yes,
Okay.
not like that, it's here now.
Could you
I guess
pass
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Chelsea, could you show us show us
Is it this one?
which one you prefer?
She's got clips on them there.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, so it's this one, or this one.
And which of those greens is your brand color?
This is the closest to our
That's
brand color.
closest.
Mhm.
I go with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go with your brand.
Yeah, and I also feel like this tone is, lines more to the gray if we don't paint the exterior, because it's like a cooler white or off cream there versus,
Not a bright white.
but I also don't like how the white shows not look like
I
white
don't
on
like that
photo.
color.
Yeah.
How does everyone
You
feel
win.
about?
And then on the back of those samples, everybody, you can see what it looks like from like a scale perspective. Yeah, because the patterns kind of distort a little bit
Let's
once
see
they're,
what this
once they're
looks
out.
Yeah, that one's a little bit busy.
So we're gonna see this one, right?
Well, it's a little busy too with the little
Yeah, that's why
stripes.
this kind
I would say
of-
more like that.
Maybe
It's
something's
dull.
gonna pop
This
and
is,
draw
this is
attention.
brighter. It's gonna go with your greenery that you're putting outside. You
Yeah.
boys wanna see?
I'm good.
It looks like the one in the upper
Almost
right
matches
corner.
your green
So will the
stuff.
front be scalloped?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Chelsea, when do you think you might have this up and running?
So the kitchen itself is already going, so I asked the contractor the soonest that we could get the window done. I told them they also only have one evening to put it in, so, so we don't have to shut down the cafe. They said they could have a 4-week lead time from the second we say go. So if I get approval tonight, we're good to go there, then I can tell them to go and we'll probably be out in the next month. I would say month to 6 weeks.
So, summer, yeah.
Yes, would be awesome.
So as far as signage goes, do you prefer to have some signage on the awning?
I
Would you
prefer
prefer to
not
wait?
on the awning. I would prefer it somewhere adjacent to feel more like European or even 1920s style, like what you might see in the original pictures. I just think that looks more
Like above
elegant
the
and
awning?
elevated. No, either next to, or like I said, I think the interim choice is going to be a temporary like sandwich board menu type sign that we set out, that's nice.
Oh.
Sandwich board or standing, which is ones I already have existing on the inside. That would be, I think, my preference to start, and then if we end up going further down the road, I'd like to consider the reason why I put the coffee to go inspiration picture in there with the shutters on the side was because I felt like that is a menu board that we could change no matter who's in the kitchen. But it also looks nice and elevated, so that is the reason why I put that up there, but that's not in the current plans.
Just trying to think of where your signage might go, because once that awning's on there, you're not gonna have much room above.
That was kind of my thought as well, is once you get everything on, you can start to see what space you have left.
Yeah, it's almost limited over to the right.
Yeah.
What if you raise the awning up as high as you can? But it'd have to be right under the security light.
Mhm.
Well, it looks like
That is okay.
in the inspiration photos, of the four, has more of an angle or a pitch versus the one to the right of it.
Correct.
So I guess you could always
I like the short one.
lessen the pitch to maybe get it up a little higher.
Then, yeah, angle it downward. like
I
that
think
idea.
Chelsea's saying that, like, the idea that it'll change often enough that it's about people knowing that it's there, and the signage really isn't gonna, like, I'm sure you're gonna have, like, pamphlet-style menus or QR menus or something
Yeah, that
like
they
that.
can hand out
That's-
the window to
yeah,
them or whatever we're
that's-
doing.
It's almost like less is more in terms of the signage.
Yeah, we
I like
wanted
it.
it to feel like a discoverable moment, right, versus it being like an actual, like, franchised cafe kind of situation, so.
Is everyone feeling the green and white?
I love it.
Is there
Yeah.
a particular color or style to that?
Beaufort Forest Green Natural 6 Bar. I have it pulled up. I have the SKU number 2.
It says forest green.
Forest Green is what it says. Of course, I chose the out-of-stock one, but I'll figure it, I'll call them. I'll figure out what that means.
Is it forest green and cream? Can we-
It's, yeah, I would say that it's like an off-white.
And you do have a SKU?
Yep.
Is that necessary?
If you would like it,
Sure.
4806 0000, currently out of stock.
Maybe we should just,
Maybe we
just
just leave
forest
that out.
green.
Yeah, let's just leave that out.
I'll find the
But
almost
thanks.
exact same one.
Do we have any further questions? Anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve application CA-25-026 with the condition that the color of the awning will be forest green.
And off-white.
And off-white.
Yeah, and all.
I would second that.
Roll call, David Craycraft,
Yes.
Pete Lynch,
Yes.
Linda Henry,
Yes.
Rich Dowdy, yes, Patrick Lynch,
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Roger White.
Yes.
Andrew, were we supposed to say something about planners in there?
No, I don't think so. I think,
I know you said that was furniture.
yeah, I think you talked about it, gave the applicant good direction on it. Chelsea, I think the only thing you may need to do from a building permit standpoint is maybe submit something for the window.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, like maybe like for the energy compliance component of it, because there's an
Oh, okay.
opening. Just reach out to me later this week and I'll ask our plans examiner if he wants to see that. Because he won't look at anything, I don't think, for the awning.
Got it.
I haven't had anybody ask to convert like a stationary window to like a opening before, so that would be my only question.
We gotta get some air in there. It's like a literal vault, so it's like impossible to keep that kitchen cold, as our poor cooks are learning. So, and me.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can leave it there.
Thank you guys.
Do you want to, do you need to borrow it at all, or you got it on your?
I got a picture.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
In terms of old and new business, I don't really have a super lot to go over. I'm sure all of you are aware that the first floor of Waterloo 2 is under construction for a pediatric dentist. I've talked with their assigned vendor about getting in front of you guys in the future. Give them the rules for the overlay district on what type of signage material and lighting and things like that for them to take a look at with the client. Other than that, you guys are staying extremely busy, so let's keep up the good pace and let's have a record-breaking year, I guess, on number of applications.
Is there anything going into the building across the street on the first floor?
The empty tenant space, nobody that I'm aware of has signed anything for it. I've talked to several prospects of, wanting to know if that zoning allows for certain types of uses, but I don't think anything has been committed to.
Andrew, on the Clinton Street property fence, has there been any activity on that?
Yes, they actually just got that corrected last week.
I walked past it. It looks, are they gonna paint it?
They did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I sent them a reminder note that they had to get it completed by the end of May, and as of last week, end of last week, it was totally done.
Is that the one on the corner?
Yeah, they wrap those metal posts with wood and they painted it to match. I saw it today, it looks really good. That was a really good compromise, I think, to allow them to keep the fence without tearing it out from the public view.
Did they put the interior supports on as well to keep the slats from
The
cupping?
spacers,
Yeah.
they put the spacers in. I don't think they've helped though.
No.
And then the house that's being built, the fourth house in, that just started the basement foundation a couple weeks ago. They got the public utility extensions in, and they broke ground on that, so the house will probably be done mid-next year. I guess a custom build like that's probably 180 days to occupancy.
Anything else?
I have a question. The lady that came in with the vinyl fencing, when she submitted this application and it said wood, wouldn't it have been better to tell her right then, we don't accept?
Yeah, so I try with all applications that come before you guys to help guide the applicant to a successful submittal. I did suggest to come with an alternative for a wood-type fence.
Yes, you did.
That way you guys had, something else to consider this evening. But I definitely try to help steer all these, applications to you guys to be the best possible thing when you're looking at it. Like a good example, the walk-up window for Chelsea, she had the slider on the far left side and the far right was a 4-foot stationary window. So, just talking with her, I asked her if she could center that to make it a little more proportional, just because from like the framing perspective of this opening, having a frame inside of a frame centered on one side may look a little heavy, so I try to do little stuff like that. Like this was a 6-foot wide awning instead of an 8-foot wide awning, so, asked her to make that a little wider to cover the whole glass. So that stuff does happen. Depends if the applicant, takes my feedback or not,
I
but
thought you did do that, so I was just kind of surprised that she seemed surprised.
She should have been surprised. I mean, she was forewarned. Yeah, so she knew what she was walking into.
But she didn't appear to be surprised.
No,
You didn't think so?
I think she was playing her cards.
yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew, do we have any applications for June yet?
One so far. Anything else?
Good.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Time is 8:19.
Sorry, second.
Roll call, Dave Kirkhoff.
Yes.
Rich Dowdy, yes. Steve Lynch.
Yes.
Linda Henry.
Yes.
Patrick Lynch.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Roger White.
Yes.
Dave seconded.
Yes.